Welcome back. You're watching IGN Live at E3. I'm James Duggan. This is my colleague Miranda Sanchez, and we're joined by David Geloza, who's here to tell us all about Bless Unleashed. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I have an anecdote to tell you about my high school experience.
Oh.
This could go in a lot of different directions, so stay tuned. I was playing World of Warcraft, and my friend Matt, I was like, I don't have a PC, but WoW's totally going to come to Xbox. This is the original Xbox, mind you, but fast forward however many years, in 2019, we finally have an MMO on Xbox One, Bless, so tell us all about it.
Yeah, so Bless Unleashed, it's going to be a free-to-play MMO coming out for the Xbox One later this year. It takes place in a world similar to like ancient Greece with the pantheon of gods. They're always battling for power and using humans to try to get their way. And as a player, you are involved in this somehow, and you're trying to find out why you're special, who's pulling your strings and whatnot. Like other MMOs, you're going to have 5 different character classes to play. You'll have your Berserker, who's kind of like your big tank. You'll have your Crusader, who's like your sword and shield, a little bit offense, a little bit defense, Ranger, Mage, and Priest. One cool thing that we're doing is every class can kind of hold their own. So we're going away from the trifecta of DPS, tank, healer. And classes will complement each other as opposed to being dependent on each other. So you'll never be waiting 20 minutes to do a dungeon because there's no priests online type of thing.
Right.
Really stoked on that.
So I saw how you guys were describing it, so there's no Holy Trinity requirement for those classes. How did you guys make that viable?
Lots of playtesting. Like every class can do damage. Every class has a way to boost up attack. Through crafting, you'll have healing potions, buffs. So really, if you want to play a lot of the game solo, you can do that and still have a really fun time. We wanted that to be accessible to console players. But we also wanted enough meat for the hardcore MMO players. So in the later games, when there's raids and dungeons and PvP, there's a lot for them to really do.
I want to jump back to something you said, which is the story tells you why you're special, not if you're special. That's so uplifting. So this is an MMO made from the ground up for Xbox and Xbox One.
Yep.
Tell us about how that affects the control scheme and the action.
Sure. So, as you know, in MMOs, there's lots of UI on the bottom for your 40, 50 skills. The menus are really deep and intricate, and we really need to solve the problem of how do we make it intuitive with just the buttons you have on the controller and not take 20 minutes to equip your weapon or whatnot. So we did a lot of testing, a lot of iteration, put it in front of a lot of people, and came up with in-action combat scheme using the different buttons, so everything is very accessible quickly and intuitively.
What other challenges do you guys face on making an MMORPG for a console?
Well, this is in Unreal 4. So we battle with, we want to show lots and lots of pretty stuff, but also keep the frame rate down, keep it optimized. We want as much stuff on screen as possible, but also keeping it running nice. That was one challenge.
So when we talk about MMO in 2019, I think the genre and its motifs have disseminated across so many different things. So the term is a little bit vague for me. When we're talking MMO, are we talking single shard server, thousands of players, or are we talking a little bit more smaller scale than that?
There'll be lots of servers. The servers will be populated. Well, I'm not sure of the exact number yet. That's something that we're doing in our beta test this summer. But you'll be able to play in dungeons of groups of 5, or there'll be field bosses, like a large dragon will jump down. There'll be 20, 30 people all fighting it at once. So servers will be pretty populated. How many will just depend on how many we need to support the user base that we have.
Gotcha.
Okay. So maybe this is a silly question, but customization is such a big part of me for MMOs.
Oh,
like, it's
that's
so
not a
important.
silly question.
Yeah,
That's
and it's like I know
the
someone
core.
out there knows for me, right? Like you get it, right? So tell us a little bit about that, because I know there's supposed to be a big customization system as well.
Yep. There's a lot. You'll have a few different races to choose from. Human, elf, Varg, which is like a large cat race.
Wonderful. I always look for the cat people, so you know.
And we have the Ipin, which is kind of a mousy type of feline race as well. They're like yay tall. You'll be able to anything that you want. There's hair color, eye color, tattoos, skin color, hairstyles. In the game, since it'll be free to play, we'll be monetizing based on customization of costumes and what have you, so you can really make yourself look how you kind of want.
Okay.
Let's talk about progression. So
Sure.
both in a character-specific sense as well as weapon and equipment progression. Do you have things like kind of legendary affixes that are modifying skills, or tell me about just the process of developing your character and kind of speccing into a more specialized role?
Sure. We have what are called blessings. So on your right-hand side there on the screen, there's different special attacks each class gets. As you level up, you'll have points to put into your blessings, either make them more powerful or choose different ones. And you can go down a few branching paths. So you can have 3 rangers in a party. Each could be spec'd a little differently. We'll also have lots of crafting in the game. So you'll have these really big weapons near end game, which you'll be able to customize and enchant in ways that you want that befits your gameplay.
Very nice. So I see this very intricate UI, which I expect for any MMO. Can you turn off that overlay for like the button command? So say I'm like expert at this. Can I just turn it off?
Yeah, there'll be lots of little customizations.
Perfect.
Both for your controls, in inverting accesses, changing different buttons. And as we get feedback, we'll be changing it throughout the betas too, just based on what our player feedback is and like what they like. So there'll be lots of customization options.
Nice for seeing this boss fallen, big guy. So tell me about the number of dungeons as well as the number of field bosses. I think that I've always been kind of rooting for just a WoW Dungeons the game with all this dungeon content that I can dig my teeth into. Is that Bless Unleashed, and how many dungeons are you looking to launch with?
We're looking at around a dozen right now, I believe. That number may change plus minus 1 or 2 based on our beta test and how things go. Each one of those will have a big boss. Field bosses, we're looking around 6 or 7 right now. And once again, might change 1 or 2 based on our betas. We have big giants, we have large dragons, big wolves. Lots of fun things. Just as you're wandering around, you'll see this big giant attacking something and 30, 40 people all rushing in to go kill it. That's actually my favorite part of the game, of doing that. So a lot of content to chew on. And since it'll be a games as a service game, every few months we'll have new dungeons, new quests, new content, new monsters, always updating it, making it better.
Awesome. So how many areas can we explore when we first jump in?
There'll be a few. There'll be some forests up in the mountains, the desert crags of what you kind of obviously here, some populous cities, and once again, once it launches, we'll be expanding into more areas every few months just to keep things fresh and moving.
Absolutely. So go ahead.
Oh, well, the dungeon content is 5 players. Is the field boss content also that, or is the field boss kind of the analog for raids in this scenario?
Yeah, the field bosses are sort of raidy. They're more just like hop in and participate as opposed to organize and attack. And so that can vary. The more people attacking the boss, the AI will scale accordingly, and the rewards will scale accordingly also. Yeah, and that can be as little as 3 people, or as many as our servers will handle, which is something that we're currently testing in the betas.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to bring it back to classes for a second. You're saying that these are all viable, all great. Which is the best class? You have to choose. You have to pick a baby.
If I had to choose, I like the ranger a whole bunch.
Okay.
To me, the learning curve was a little higher. But I find the ranger really fun to play. Lots of dynamic skills, dodging, but really it all depends on your play style. We demoed this game at PAX with hundreds and hundreds of people. Everyone had their favorite. Some people couldn't stand the ranger. Some people loved the slow moving berserker because that double-handed axe did so much damage, and lots of fun particles and watching just people die everywhere, right? So it really depends, but if I had to choose, it's probably the ranger.
Are we looking at any PvP for launch?
Oh yeah, yep. We expect to have a battlefield type system, also like PvP areas. So that'll be a part of the end game also. If you like PvE, there'll be stuff for you. PvP, there'll be stuff for you. So we're really looking forward to that. We're doing a lot of that balancing right now. We found that the ranger was killing everyone because the range was so long. And so we're still.
I see why you like the ranger.
Yeah. So we're still balancing it. We had to bring that in a little bit and trying to make it nice and fair for everyone.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna play the Ranger then.
Yeah.
Don't balance it. It's fine. No one has to know.
There comes a bunch of angry posts on the subreddit about how OP the Ranger is. Can you tell me about, there's no health regen in this game conventionally.
Yeah.
So what are we doing to heal ourselves, or do we just kind of have to grin and bear it?
There's a few things. You'll be able to craft potions. Obviously, if you play a priest, you'll have some healing abilities. But we have what are called soul pyres. They're campfires spread across the entire world that you'll respawn at if you die. Or you can go there to heal. We want to treat those as small social hubs. So you can cook food there, give food to other players, heal up, and we really hope that works as a way for players to meet each other and maybe like, oh, you're having trouble with that guy over there. Let's team up and be social and go beat him to do together. So that's one thing I'm excited to see how it all pans out.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the social elements? Like, what can we do as players in this world?
Sure, you can team up and do dungeons. You can team up and do normal quests. You can chat. We'll have voice chat. We'll have a guild system. And as the game progresses, there'll be ways to visit each other and that type of stuff.
Okay.
Fantastic. David Miranda, thank you for joining me. This is all the time we have, unfortunately. Look out for more Bless Unleashed later this year when it comes back from break. When we come back from break, Getting Bloody with Blasphemous, more on IGN Live at E3 2019 right after this.